In this insignificance we share, we have one gift that other species perhaps do not. We are aware not only of our insignificance, but the grandeur around us that makes us insignificant. Welcome to NVC Life. I'm Rachelle Lamb, veteran NVC trainer and relationship coach, helping listeners navigate interpersonal conflict and ground more deeply into relational living. Greetings, fellow humans. It's been a while since my last episode, over 4 weeks in fact. It's been interesting to notice that while one part of me would feel the urge to record and upload an episode, another part of me was more interested in following the lead of my own internal weather system. And since spring has been bursting forth here in Victoria, BC, where I live, I followed the impulse to get outdoors and appreciate the beauty of the blooming cherry blossom trees lining so many of the streets in riotous pink, the large patches of bright yellow daffodils, the magnificent magnolia trees. Honestly, it's so incredibly beautiful. Last weekend, I saw 4 owls during a walk through the park. I saw about 30 turtles lined up on a log basking in the sun. Several blue herons flying overhead with twigs in their beaks for nest building. It won't be long before one area of the park begins to sound like Jurassic Park. Blue herons have an incredibly shrill and piercing squawk, and when there are a large number of them gathered in one spot, feeding and protecting their young, it's quite the ruckus soundscape. Yes, the natural world is something to behold. And then yesterday's eclipse. Wow, that was something. It wasn't noticeable here where I live, but I did watch the live streams covering the path of totality. I found it incredibly moving. I have never witnessed a total solar eclipse myself, and I probably never will, but I'm grateful for the photo and video captures. I know that huge numbers of people gathered along the path. Niagara Falls was declared a state of emergency on Sunday only because of the swell of people driving into the place. An eclipse chaser from Calgary was interviewed following the eclipse in Mazatlan, Mexico. This was her 4th eclipse viewing, and she described her experience. Her daughter then spoke about how special it was, how everything got so quiet, that it was like a vivid sunrise, but different in that it was all around and the planet Venus could be seen. Then the grandson spoke. He was probably around 10 years old, and he said this, "Well, I was just like standing out, seeing the sliver left in the ocean. And when I just got so excited, I was doing that for a while. And then when I finally just saw darkness go over the ocean and towards me, it felt like shivers down my spine. But then when I saw the full totality in over the air, it felt like it wasn't real." He was so excited about it as he spoke, and I have just repeated what he said verbatim. In Kingston, another boy, a bit older, was asked what he thought as he was wearing his glasses and peering into the sky. "I would say this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's honestly just beautiful. There's so many people here, I don't know what to say." He removed his glasses. "Last sliver. Totality has started. This is absolutely crazy." The camera then goes to the horizon, which is a glowing, warm, deep crimson line above the horizon. And underneath a carpet of blackness, the interviewer asks the boy, "What do you want the people of Canada to know?" He responds, "That life is beautiful. Surely, once in a lifetime, absolutely amazing." In Niagara Falls, a woman named Nicole can barely speak. She's choked up. "Are those tears I see?" asks CBC reporter Heather Hiscox. "I mean, it was fantastic. To see the sun's corona, which I had only seen a glimpse of in 2017. It's beautiful, and I understand why people chase eclipses. It was beautiful. And did you see the birds starting to act weird? I'm sorry, I just get so emotional. For me, I love astronomy, I love space, and to see our solar system in motion, it is just an amazing thing to me. Heather says, we're part of something so much more than this spot. Nicole agrees, it's bigger than us. You know, it shows you how small we are in the grand scheme of things, and we're allowed to marvel at it and be taken. Like, it's just awe-inspiring. It really is. Heather finishes, you just stand and wonder. You want to behold and experience. In William Shatner's book, Boldly Go, Reflections on a Life of Awe and Wonder, Shatner writes how his October 2021 trip into space on the shuttle didn't produce the euphoric experience he had anticipated it would. He writes, I love the mystery of the universe. I love all the questions that have come to us over thousands of years of exploration and hypotheses, stars exploding years ago, their light traveling to us years later, black holes absorbing energy, satellites showing us entire galaxies in areas thought to be devoid of matter entirely. All of that has thrilled me for years. But when I looked in the opposite direction, into space, there was no mystery, no majestic awe to behold. All I saw was death. I saw a cold, dark, black emptiness. It was unlike any blackness you can see or feel on earth. It was deep, enveloping, all-encompassing. I turned back toward the light of home. I could see the curvature of earth, the beige of the desert, the white of the clouds, and the blue of the sky. It was life. Nurturing, sustaining, life, Mother Earth, Gaia, and I was leaving her. Everything I had thought was wrong. Everything I had expected to see was wrong. I had thought that going into space would be the ultimate catharsis of that connection I had been looking for between all living things, that being up here would be the next beautiful step to understanding the harmony of the universe. In the film Contact, when Jodie Foster's character goes to space and looks out into the heavens, she lets out an astonished whisper, "They should have sent a poet." I had a different experience because I discovered that the beauty isn't out there. It's down there with all of us. Leaving that behind made my connection to our tiny planet even more profound. It was among the strongest feelings of grief I have ever encountered. The contrast between the vicious coldness of space and the warm nurturing of earth below filled me with overwhelming sadness. Every day, we are confronted with the knowledge of further destruction of Earth at our hands, the extinction of animal species, of flora and fauna, things that took 5 billion years to evolve, and suddenly we will never see them again because of the interference of mankind. It filled me with dread. My trip to space was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, it felt like a funeral. I learned later that I was not alone in this feeling. It is called the overview effect and is not uncommon among astronauts, including Yuri Gagarin, Michael Collins, Sally Ride, and many others. Essentially, when someone travels to space and views Earth from orbit, a sense of the planet's fragility takes hold in an ineffable, instinctive manner. Author Frank White first coined the term in 1987. There are no borders or boundaries on our planet except those we can create in our minds or through human behaviors. All the ideas and concepts that divide us when we are on the surface begin to fade from orbit and the moon. The result is a shift in worldview and in identity. It can change the way we look at the planet, but also other things like countries, ethnicities, religions. It can prompt an instant reevaluation of our shared harmony and a shift in focus to all the wonderful things we have in common instead of what makes us different. It reinforced tenfold my own view on the power of our beautiful, mysterious, collective human entanglement, and eventually it returned a feeling of hope to my heart. In this insignificance we share, we have one gift that other species perhaps do not. We are aware not only of our insignificance, but the grandeur around us that makes us insignificant. That allows us perhaps a choice to rededicate ourselves to our planet, to each other, to life and love all around us, if we seize that chance. from Boldly Go, Reflections on a Life of Awe and Wonder, co-authored by Joseph Brandon. It was published by Tria Books, October 2022. I was moved to tears several times yesterday watching the live streaming of the eclipse, and I shared the small snippets of conversations I found so moving. In all of them, the sense of incredible wonder and gratitude prevails. I also appreciate that so many would travel great distances to witness a celestial event, that there is something to be said for the act of gathering in great numbers, to be awed, to feel how very small we really are, to be eclipsed by wonder. It's such a contrast in my mind to being trapped inside the information age with opinions ricocheting against the hollow walls of imagined certainty. I remember my mother sometimes shrieking at my brothers and me when we were kids, "Get outside!" Ours was a childhood spent mostly outdoors, without electronic screens, without adult supervision, playing chase, hide and seek, hopscotch, and simply exploring the nearby brushes and swamps. I wonder what would happen to us if we spent a few weeks unplugged from our devices and spent most of our time outdoors appreciating the vastness of the natural world, even within the confines of urban living. Just find a patch of grass or weeds or damp earth and lie down facing the sky, remembering how small we are and how indebted we are to the earth, sun, and moon for our lives, the oldest Holy Trinity. To quote Frank White again, there are no borders or boundaries on our planet except those that we create in our minds or through human behaviors. All the ideas and concepts that divide us when we are on the surface begin to fade from orbit and the moon. The result is a shift in worldview and in identity, end quote. I want to highlight the word identity, a word that has become so burdened and contaminated by a toxic obsession with individualism that is entirely removed from a deeply lived human life that is properly tethered to the earth and her cycles, tethered to wonder, to reverence, and abiding awareness that we belong to something much larger, much more vast than our clever ideas and distorted wants and ambitions. For many, yesterday's solar eclipse was a day to step outside of the box of tedious opinions about the multitudes of things that we fervently uphold and oppose, and to instead feel a blessed kinship with one another in our shared gratitude and wonder of the awe-inspiring solar system that grants us this short and beautiful life on our precious earth. Thank you for tuning into NVC Life. For future episodes, be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. For free resources or to book a private session with me, head over to RachelleLamb.com. Until the next time, stay sane, grateful, and generous.